Alex, over to you.
Super. Welcome everyone. Very pleased to have you all today. I think we're hitting the 215 people mark now as I speak. Welcome to this intro workshop, AI agents for beginners. We have a couple of ground to cover today, so it's going to be a mix of slides, of explanations, and demos. We'll also have some exercises for those of you who are interested in applying what you've learned that you'll be able to take afterwards. And so we're going to start with a brief introduction about ourselves, dive into the meat, which are slides taken from our course, AI Builder. There's one lesson on AI agents where we cover extensively what these are, how to think about agents, how to build agents. And as I said, we'll have more than enough room to also make this a bit of a discussion and to answer your questions. And while we are casually hitting almost 250, let's start with a brief introduction. So for those of you who don't know us yet, we are 9X. We are building your one-stop shop to learn AI and automation, learn how to use AI primarily at work, how to automate your processes, your tasks using AI platforms. Why do we do this? We believe that these skills are essential. They are going to change everyone's job. So no matter what you're going to do in the future, AI is going to be involved in one form or another. And basically, there's one side that is going to come to you naturally. The tools are going to be more intuitive, those AI features are going to land in the tools I use today. We really believe that there's another side, which is um, today already you can do a lot of amazing things with the current state of technology, and that there's an advantage to develop if you learn how to harness AI. That includes, among others, learning to build AI agents like what we're going to show you today. We work with a lot of interesting companies that are dear customers, and we train in a different way. So there's a lot of things that we do around to educate people around AI. One of the main ways is entirely free. It's our YouTube channel. Jan is dropping the link in the Zoom chat. If you're on YouTube watching us, you're probably subscribed. If not, the bell's not far, like the subscribe button's not far. And if you're on Zoom and you want to get quality tutorials, no BS updates on what's happening in AI, just subscribe to the channel. Another way we do it for free is via workshops like this one, and we run these every week. And so next week is already next workshop. You can register to it on Lu.ma. Same here, Jan is going to drop the link in the chat. We run these every week. Most of them, immense majority, is free. If you want to get notified of the upcoming workshops, you can simply subscribe to the Lu.ma calendar, and then you will get one workshop a week. Next week, what are we tackling, Jan?
We
What
will
is the
be
what is the topic?
building a topic as hopefully close to everyone's heart that's in this call. We'll be building an AI agent in and quite a new tool, a bit more on the enterprise side of things called Noxus, Noxus AI, which I'm very excited about. And particularly what I love about next week's live session, it's a very already concrete use case. So we'll be building a case management agent, which is something that obviously right now there's any company that has a lot of customer service demand. There's this big topic of triaging inbound cases, inbound tickets, making sure they land in the right department for those who can answer the question, or maybe now AI can even answer it directly. So Jose from Noxus is going to be walking us through, and this will actually be a live build. So I think you could take what you learn in today's session about just some fundamentals of AI agents, and then Jose is going to be walking us through. And what's going to be fun about next week is I've actually never used Noctis, the tool, and I'll be building live alongside everyone. So Jose is going to be the host, guiding us through it, and I'll also be building it live and troubleshooting with everyone.
Amazing. Very cool. And next week we're going to have also, this was added to the calendar just now. Will be I will be 1 hour before. I will be with JJ, who works as the community and education lead at Software, which is another of the AI platforms that we love showcasing and on which you can build full-fledged apps. And they're releasing a new feature. They're releasing AI agents fields, and so we'll be playing around in software with this new functionality that is going to open up a lot of possibilities and allow you to build AI-powered apps inside software. The event is just published now, so it's fresh news. Make sure to register. Maybe you can just change the two, and then that's your whole afternoon is taken care of by us.
A little back to back.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then we do it. Sometimes we ask for money. We do it via courses. We have 3 courses. Actually, we have these two that are paid courses. AI Operator, which is more an intro course for beginners to learn prompting, prompt engineering, how to master AI chat solutions like ChatGPT, Claude, and the likes. And AI Builder, which is a bit heavier, we're going to learn extensively in detail how to build with AI, how to build agents, how to build AI workflows, how to build internal tools. And the third course here will launch very soon. There's a wait list, and the price will be 0. We are going to also have it for free. It will be more a showcase of what you can build with AI, and that's my big project for the month. So that's for the introduction. Now let's get to it. So AI Agents 101, we are going in this session to answer, or in this segment of the workshop, trying to answer what are, I believe, from at least from the demand or from the number of times we've been asked these questions, the 4 most common, most important questions around AI agents. What are AI agents? What makes an AI agent? What are the components of an agent? No matter whether you're going to build it on NA10, Zapier, Make, wherever you get your good agent, you will find patterns. You will find things that make an agent, no matter the platform. How to build an agent? And so here, that's a long story. That's not something we're going to cover in the whole workshop, but I'll give you a framework that I found out accidentally for building agents that I find quite simple and that yield some good results in many cases. And I'll share this framework with you. And then finally, I think the most burning question, which platform choose to build agents, is a very political matter because what would happen if we were to say this platform is the best? We'll make a lot of enemies just in 5 seconds. And so we'll see how you can, that actually this question doesn't really matter. That no matter the platform you're choosing, it's really more about you than the platform itself. But I'll give you some hints on how to choose the platform that is best working for you. All right. Is there some action in the chat? No,
Some
all good.
action in the chat, but all
Yeah,
good.
Jan is handling.
Yes,
All
yeah, but
right.
already a very, very important point, which I think is very close to our heart, that Georgia mentioned on when it comes to choosing the best platform, isn't it changing all the time? And that's absolutely right. But we'll
Yeah.
we'll touch on that a little bit later on.
All right. So question number 1, what is an agent? What are AI agents? And so first I want to start with a bit of a definition. This is a graph and a post that I shared on LinkedIn in December last year that quite resonated on the topic of agents. And to give you a bit of background, so we're not going to go through the whole table, but a bit of background, at the time, everything shared on LinkedIn was labeled AI agents. Like literally everything, every make scenario, every NA10 automation, absolutely everything was, I built this agent that replaces your entire team, which is also not true. And before focusing on training people on AI and automation, 9x The team at 9x was an automation agency. So we were sort of deep into this subject. And for us, many of the things that were shared online were not agents. Sometimes people were sharing simple automations, not using AI at all, and labeling it agents.
It's what the
Um,
people wanted.
and very often, and we still see that today, we see many AI workflows passing by, casually labeled agents. Nobody seemed to notice the difference or care, but for us, um, the difference is notable. An automation is going to execute successive steps that you predefined. So you're going to upfront define everything that needs to happen. You're in full control of what happens, but the imperative is that you have defined it all in advance. And this is why sometimes automations break because you cannot anticipate what you don't know. And so if your scenario is if a scenario that's unexpected that happens, your automation is going to break. On the flip side, uh, an automation that is very, very well configured never fails and always does the same thing. And that's the beauty of it. An AI workflow, if we move in the middle, it's like an automation, except we are going to call in one or multiple steps of the workflow, we're going to call a large language model to do a certain task. It could be to read a document, it could be to generate a blog article or a post. But in its structure, it's going to still remain linear. It's just we're going to have that creativity, that fuzziness of large language models in a step, but then we move on to the next step until we finish all the steps of our workflow. And yeah, that is basically an enhanced automation. So both are very linear by nature. An agent, on the other hand, is a program that's going to be able to handle non-deterministic tasks, non-linear tasks, and in an autonomous manner. Meaning, and that's the biggest strength of agents, also their biggest weakness, an agent can improvise. These two things cannot improvise, an agent can. And that's the first time you see it, that's wonderful because you're like, oh, this is like having a little employee right there in the middle of my canvas that is just handling the situation. But that is also the biggest weakness because, yes, like a human, it's going to do what it wants. And there are chances it's probably not going to do what you want. Yeah. And so that's why there's a huge and meaningful difference between the three. And Jan is going to show you three examples, three variations of the same potentially use case, one automation, one workflow, and one agent. Should I
Yeah,
just,
absolutely. I think you can just, these are just, you take over. So first of all, starting with one of probably, it was one of the first automations I ever built, and probably an automation that a lot of marketers build is when you capture a lead from some source. So a person fills out a form on your website, maybe it's a lead magnet. In this case, we have a tally form. A person fills out a form and you want to capture that information and save it in your CRM system. Whenever someone fills out that form, that information needs to be saved. This is never something that should be given to an AI agent. As Alex said, their AI agents can get a little bit creative. We don't want any creativity. We want the first name to land in the first name field of our CRM, the last name to land in the last name, and the email to land in an email. And this should just be a simple automation. And in this case, it's a sales use case. But we move on to what an AI automation could look like for this example. And so here we have again, the lead signs up on the website. And maybe before we save that information to our CRM, maybe we want to use AI to determine, okay, did this person just sign up with a business email, or did they sign up with a personal email like a Gmail account? And again, that is not something where it's probably at that level where you need to give this to an AI agent. You could just make a simple large language model call. And here what you're seeing in the screenshot is a make scenario, and where that's the inbuilt Make AI tool. So a lot of these integration platforms and tool builders will be adding their own AI functionality. So here it's just using this Make AI feature, which allows you to categorize some text. And now if we move on to the final example here, where an AI agent would make sense, is you've captured the email, you've analyzed whether it's a business or a private email, you've saved that information to your HubSpot, and then maybe you go and trigger a lead research agent that will go and visit a number of sites, which is not predefined before. You would just give this agent a task saying, hey, this is a new lead that signed up on our website. Find out everything you can about them. And this one here is using the make AI agents feature that we'll see a little bit more later on. But what I really want to stipulate is the agent here isn't responsible for saving the information to the CRM. It's we save it first, then we go and trigger the agent, and the agent will have a tool to update the CRM. So after it's found some information in HubSpot, it's then going to go back and add a note to that lead with all of the information that it found, but it's not responsible for saving the information.
Very cool. And that's a really like for like comparison with the same use case. So what can they do, AI agents? If we break down the capabilities of an agent into key categories, and here again, we're trying to define things that no matter the platform, that's what an agent should be able to do. They're a bit like humans. They're first able to perceive. So they're going to be able to collect information from their environment, whether it's a sign up from the marketing website, whether it's a message from a user. What's interesting, whether it's also a document or a picture, since models are now multimodal and can handle audio, video, images, as well as text, their breadth of perception is going to increase. Once they perceive the situation, they understand the situation, they can decide, and they're going to assess options and decide based on a goal you gave them. So this is when we're going to configure agents. We're going to defining SOPs, standard operating procedures, or a set of instructions that will help them make a decision on what to do. Once they know what to do, once they've decided, they're going to execute tasks or commands. And for that, they're going to use tools, skills that they've been given. And that's also part of the things we're going to configure when we set up these agents, no matter the platform we're going to use. They can also communicate. And one big advantage between an agent and an AI workflow or an automation is when they communicate, they can do it in plain English. So, and that was one of the things where when people were treating AI workflows the same way as an agent, I think they were not really evaluating the big difference it makes that when you want to debug an agent because they're not doing exactly what you want, you're literally talking to them. Of course, you can change the configuration and so on, but like there's a lot of troubleshooting that happens with just chatting with it. And finally, they can learn. We can create sort of closed loop systems where based on the outcomes of their past decisions and actions and based on the objectives that you set to them, they could improve the results or their future results by reflecting on what went wrong and update the way they operate for next time. So that's what agents can do. Now I've hinted to some components. Can you maybe in the chat guess what are some components of an AI agent? What are some of the pieces you will need in order to make an agent? LLM, yes. Memory, tools. Oh my God, everybody's already expert here.
Tools, prompt, input, paid
Yeah,
tokens. Kevin's on the thinking about the cache, API,
API. Yeah, yeah.
vector
Vector
DB from
database.
Mandy. There we go.
Okay, very cool. MCP. All right.
Did I
So
share my screen, Alex?
yes. So let me
Yeah.
unshare and
And here, share.
let's stop sharing.
All right, you can see this. Just move my Zoom controls over. All right, you can see my screen, Alex?
I'm not sure. Okay. Yes, people can see your screen. Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
perfect. All
Right.
right, so what are the components of an AI agent? What I want to do is list them. So we've got 6 here. Some of them have already been mentioned in the chat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how these components basically impact an AI agent by looking at AI agents in N8N, which is another tool that we've already mentioned that we want to look into. So first of all, as most people correctly guessed, one of the core components of an AI agent, if I can actually move my pitch, is a large language model. So large language model can be ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, or any of the other large language models out there. This is what a lot of people refer to as the brain of an AI agent. So let's take a look inside N8N here. So here I just have an N8N workflow with an AI agent built in. And you can see right now it's red. It's showing a bit of an error, and there's this asterisk next to chat model. This is a very simple agent that just takes an input from a chat. As Alex said, often agents, you can just chat with it here, and we can basically try out our agent by chatting with it. So if I just write hi there, basically there's going to be an error here because this agent can't answer anything because it doesn't have a brain. It's like, I can't remember, maybe write in the chat which character in the Wizard of Oz was it that didn't have a brain, but that's what our AI agent is like right now. And so I just need to add a model, a large language model. We can see here all of the different providers. So imagine if I just pick Anthropic, I can just drop in Anthropic here. What you will need whenever you want to connect an AI agent or set up an AI agent, particularly in these integration platforms, is you will need to bring in your own API key. So if I here, what's going on? I think I've got maybe some internet issues, but here I've connected my Anthropic account. If I was doing this for the first time, what I would simply need to do is drop in an API key here, and that enables my AI agent to use this model. And what's very cool, I think I'm having some issues loading this one, but typically what you'd see is when you connect these models to AI agents, whenever new models come out, you can just simply upgrade them. So you're not setting up an agent for a specific model in mind. You can easily switch this out. You could build an agent with the Claude model. If you're not happy with the results, you can simply delete that one. And let's say we drop in here OpenAI. And now I can change this to the new GPT-5 model if I wanted to. So now that our AI agent has a little brain here, let me try that same message again. If I write hi there, and I think I'm just going to have something here saved for later, which I think is causing some issues in N8N. So what I might do is just remove this one, and let's try the test again. So now our AI agent has a brain. Okay, it's being really picky. Let me just reload. Okay, this is very good for a live demo that we have N8N offline here. So I think, Alex, what we might do,
We pick a
uh,
different platform. Because we can
yeah,
choose the same thing. Where do you want to
yeah.
show it?
I think it might be a little bit tricky. Let me just check. It could be. I hope that Rouge and our team might not just be updating our N8N instance, but otherwise, let me just try something
Yeah,
here.
otherwise we can show it in Lindy. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, maybe we should open the admin panel.
Yeah, I can show it in
Yeah,
Lindy.
yeah, maybe you can go and show it in Lindy, and I'll see if we can get this back up and running.
Also, like I said, I could show it in Lindy, but I think the internet is not the most brilliant right now. Okay, I will. Can you see? Can you all see my screen now? That's good.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So if you were in Lindy and if you want to create an agent, um, Lindy looks a little bit like a workflow builder, but don't be mistaken. It is agentic. And basically, any Lindy here in Lindy is going to be in the settings. Any Lindy is going to start with some, they call this context. So this is where we're going to add the second part, which are the instructions. But there is a default model. And the default model in Lindy is an LLM that's going to look over every step of this workflow. Um, and so as such, is not going to Lindy may look like you're going to build an AI workflow with a series of steps, but actually what you come to realize when you start using it um, more regularly and you have like different use cases for it, you will see that actually the Lindy agent is not necessarily following the steps here and has this ability to improvise based on the situation. and also that at all times I'm able to chat with it. Whether it is planned in the workflow that I receive a chat from that agent, or whether it is completely improvised. And so the thing that I'm chatting with on a Lindy agent at all times is going to be this model here, the default model, uh, which eventually is here to help me complete the task, to assist me in completing the task, and is basically trying to achieve yeah, the series of instructions that is given here. Shall I continue with Lindsay, Jan?
Yes, give me
Yeah?
1 second. I'm just trying to spin up a free N8N trial, but let me
Okay.
see also if we can
While we do
this.
that, so the second, I already spoiled a little bit, the second um, component that you will always find in an agent, and it's the way you're going to program it, and that's why also it's very accessible, is are the instructions. And so in Lindy, in tools like Make, Lindy, N8N, the instructions are going to be in different places. Here, you really have the core instructions. So once again, we are on the settings of the agent. And this is where, so here I have nothing for this one, but for instance, for this one, I have a long context prompt explaining to this agent, you are responsible to handle our YouTube comments from our channel. And I describe what basically the agent is expected to do here. So that's the first layer of instructions. That's the first set of background. We'll get to a bit later to the tips on how to write these instructions. But you will find it. So if Jan manages to reopen N8N and show that, you will have the same. Sometimes it will look different. You will have different windows. You will have a system prompt and a user prompt. But in the end, a core part of configuring your agent is going to be to configure those instructions. And so in Lindy is going to be there. Lindy has this particularity that not only you're going to have core instructions there, this is where you sort of like outline, this is the recipe. Yeah, this is a high level. I want you to first boil water, then you go get the pasta, then you get the sauce in the fridge, and the different steps at a high level. But you can also provide instructions in specific steps, more detailed instructions. And so here, for instance, we just want to filter, we want this agent to exclude any comment that was made by us, because otherwise, if you think about it, every time there's a new comment on YouTube, draft a response. That's great, but we would create a loop if the comment came from us. And so this step is just to tell our model, hey, just check if the comment is made by ourselves. Don't continue that flow and just stop your task there.
All right, I think we're back, Alex.
And I'll hand over to Jan so you will see also in N8N. I think actually it's great because then you already have two tools where you can see, oh, that's the same,
Exactly.
different place.
All right.
We're back.
I, in the meantime, created a new free account somewhere else, but then just that I'd finished that, this one
Boom.
obviously started working again. So we've connected an AI model. Let me just make this away so it's a bit easier to see. So we have our AI agent here, and we've connected an AI model to it, and now I can chat with it. So here I've said hi there, and it says, hello, how are you doing today? Is there anything I can help with? So this was the step number one, was providing an AI model. Then, as Alex already showed, we have these instructions that we can give to our agent. And as Alex mentioned already, the importance of them. But what I really want to, one point that I really want to highlight here, which a lot of people don't know when they're new to agents, is this idea of a hierarchy of instructions. So whenever I'm chatting here with my agent, so I might even ask it here, can you give me the top three fruits in the world? This technically is an instruction, right? I'm instructing it to give me the top three fruits in the world. It's going to use its large language model and it should come up with a response. So we have here bananas, apples, and oranges. Yeah. This is an instruction, but there's a higher level instruction that we can give, which is what is something known as typically the system prompt. So inside these AI agent settings here in N8N, we have the prompt that's coming from the user, whoever's chatting with our agent. But all of us now as AI agent builders, we have this power to instruct our agent with more detail to how it should handle whatever tasks are thrown at it. So you can see by default here, the system message is just, you are a helpful assistant. And that is what's guiding this agent's behavior to answer the question in this case, what was the top 3 fruits in the world? If I write something in this system message saying, under no circumstances, use the word orange, that's going to be a system prompt. This system, whatever you put in the system instructions, has a higher weight than what the user basically asks. So now with these new system prompts set up, I'm going to drop in this exact same prompt again, and I'm going to refresh this. And let's ask this exact same question. And we can see now we're getting bananas, apples, and citrus fruits. This category includes lemons, limes, grapefruits, and similar tangy vitamin C rich fruits. Because we're able to control our agent's behavior. And no matter what the person does now, there's going to be no way that whoever's chatting with our agent will be able to get the agent to say the word orange. Now, this is obviously quite an abstract example, but I think it's a great one of showcasing this hierarchy of instructions. So whenever you're creating an agent and you want to know, okay, how can I really ensure it's going to follow these behaviors, make sure you're adding that in the system prompt, or what we would refer to as the instructions. Now, on top of this, what's very important for our agents to have is tools. And to highlight this, let me start a new chat here. And let me ask our agent, what tasks do I have open? So I'm just going to ask this to our agent. And this is typically like if you're chatting with Claude, it's the exact same because we're connecting to the Claude model. And the agent's going to say, I don't have access to information about your current open tasks, application, or browser tabs. I can only see our current conversations. And typically what it would say is, feel free to like drop in your tasks here. But what we can do is we can give our agent tools. And I have one prepared, just hidden away off camera here that I can drop in. So I have a task management system set up in a tool called Airtable, and I have this agent tool that I can connect, which allows our agent now to interact with other systems and pull in tasks from my task management system. So with this tool added, let me just refresh our little chat agent here, and I'm going to ask the same thing. What tasks do I have open? And if we run this, what we'll notice is, first of all, it's going to use its Claude model. And now it's decided, it's realized, hey, I need to use this tool that I have access to. And then it should give us an answer. So let's take a look. You have 3 open tasks currently. Highest priority is share the recording of the AI Agents for Beginners workshop. That's due tomorrow. Record the final demos of the AI Starter course and prepare presentation for Build a Case Management Agent live. Because our agent now can interact with different systems thanks to tools, it becomes a lot more powerful than just interacting with a large language model. Now, on top of tools, something that a lot of people also mentioned in the chat in terms of a core component is AI agent memory. And this gives our agents the ability to actually have back and forth conversations and remember past interactions. So let me just go back to this agent here in N8N. I'm just going to remove this tool for now because it served its purpose in this demo. So let me restart this chat. And I'm going to give you an example of why memory in agents are very important. So let me drop in this message. When was Albert Einstein born? And I'll copy that one and send it off. And our agent is working. This is a very known fact. So every large language model, it doesn't need to use a tool to answer this, would know that Albert Einstein was born on March 14th, 1879. If I now write, how old would he be today? And let me drop in this message. We get a very interesting answer. I'd be happy to help you figure out someone's current age, but I need more information. Could you let me know who he refers to? Right now, this agent has no memory, again, similar to the agent that it only has part of its brain but can't remember anything. So it doesn't even remember the message before. And in order to give our agent this capability of memory, here in N8N, we actually need to set this up. So you have different memory services that you could use, but N8N has an inbuilt memory. And what we can do here is you'll notice that there's this session key. And every message in a chat, a back and forth conversation that has this same session key, the agent will remember, hey, this is coming from this specific conversation. And here we can give our context window a length. So how many past interactions should it use? Do we need to remember the last 20 messages that were sent back and forth, or do we need to remember only the last 5? This does have an impact on token consumption. So people might think, let's just put this to 1,000, but that's something to be aware of. If we now try quickly this exact same example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new session. So here in N8N, you see every chat session has an ID, and that's what the agent is using to remember this specific conversation. So when was Albert Einstein born? It's going to give me the answer. How old would he be today? And now every time it's using its memory. We see here that it's not just using the chat, it's using the memory, and it has no problem in answering that question. Now, this was again a very abstract example. Where we use this in real life, as Alex mentioned, is typically we would be chatting with our agents. So if we have like agents that you'll see later on that are maybe answering YouTube comments, writing blog articles, doing some research, it's going to give it its initial findings, and then you can actually chat back with your agent. And the reason that it remembers, like let's say if it gives you, hey, I've just written this blog article, and you say make it shorter, it will exactly know what work it did before and what it can make shorter. So memory is incredibly important for these agents. Now, 2 last components, just to quickly fire through these. As someone mentioned already in the chat before, a vector database, or what we would simplify it to in business terms, is an agent's knowledge. So we can basically give our agents access to external knowledge. And typically what this would be around like maybe FAQs, so product listings and things like that. And in N8N, there's also a very useful starter template that we can use here. And that does look a little bit complicated. What this sort of starter workflow does is we can upload a file. And what I've done here already was uploaded a list of our different courses into this vector database. We then have an agent that is able to retrieve information from its knowledge here. And in the case here, I asked in the chat, what is the most advanced 9X course? And it was able to answer that it was the AI Builder, and even provide a link to the website that it can open, all because we gave the agent that in its knowledge, in its vector store. And now some of you might be thinking is, why wouldn't we just give this information in the agent's instructions? So here in the agent's instructions, in our case for 9X, we probably could, because we only have 3 courses. But imagine if you have a product database of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of SKU products. It's far more efficient to store it in some sort of vectorized database. Whenever the agent wants to retrieve some information from its knowledge, from its vector database, what it's going to do is it's going to send a query. And what's really nice here in N8N, we can exactly see the different queries that are sent. So when I asked, what is the most advanced 9X course? The query the agent used to query its vector database is most advanced 9X course. And what makes these vector databases special is when the database gets searched, typically when you're just dealing with traditional databases and automation, you need to be like very specific. I want to find all records where the number is greater than 10 or the name contains this. What's happening here is these queries are querying based on the meaning of the words, not actual specific keywords or strings. So that is a quick look into agent memory. Here in N8N, you do have a lot of control. We'll see also in some other platforms throughout that maybe make that a little bit simpler. And finally, we have cooperation. So agents do not just need to work by themselves. You can actually have agents that cooperate. And to show you why you might want to do something like that, I have another little N8N workflow example here, where this is basically a Slack assistant agent. And if I just keep it zoomed at this level, we're going to have a message come into to Slack. Our assistant is going to work on this message and then reply to us on Slack. And so typically, if you have a personal assistant, what are they managing? They're managing your email and your calendar. So what we could do is give this assistant agent access to all the tools that it needs to manage our email or our calendar. But what might be more efficient in this case is that we actually set up dedicated agents for this. So here you could have one email agent, and you can see here the email agent has all the different tools for managing an inbox. And the benefit of this is that you can really train up this email agent and give it specific instructions only for managing email. You can have another agent that's just specialized on managing your calendar. And then this agent up here is just needs to be given the instructions. When you need to write an email, delegate that off to your email agent. When you need to do something in the calendar, delegate that off to your calendar agent. So just like in the workforce, you have employees that specialize on different topics, on marketing, on sales, on HR and finance. We can also do similar things with our AI agents. So that is just a quick roundup of these six core components. Alex, do we have any questions on those, or do you want to take over and share your screen and we move ahead?
I think I got most in the chat.
Awesome.
So I'm ready to share. And get it perfect transition. It's the same slide.
Nice.
It's like
Gorgeous.
so smooth. So we're going to dive a little bit into instructions. So for beginners, we're not going to talk about how to set up tools, connect your vector database. Is not a beginner topic, and we won't do it justice in such a small amount of time. But we can already talk about instructions because there are a couple of things to say there. So what are instructions? Jan already touched upon that. That's the guidelines. There's the instructions. You are going to write instructions, and then the LLM, the agent, is going to follow them. And at a high level, you're going to define what the agent is supposed to do, what it is, and what it is focused. So you can have an agent that is a content writer. You can have an agent that is a lead researcher. That is a data analyst. The gist here is do not build Jarvis, because Jarvis is an opportunity for your agent to be everything and nothing at the same time. It is generally best practice to build agents as narrow as possible. And then, as Jan showed in the last 6 components, have them cooperate. Now, if we look inside what goes into agent instructions, there are 3 must-haves. First, you're going to have a role. For instance, you are an expert customer success manager specializing in SaaS onboarding and retention. That's going to frame the agent into a particular way of approaching the task, approaching the problem. Then you're going to have the context. So this is easy to say you need to give the context to your agent. In reality, this is like the category is correct, but if you dive into the detail, context can be which tools the agent has access to, which knowledge did we provide the agent, how do you want the agent to communicate with you, what is potentially the current situation. So it can be a lot of things, but think about someone that starts their job for the first day and everything is absolutely new. This is how you should treat the context of an agent. This is the level of explanation that you need to do. You will see actually that it goes level by level. When you think that your prompt has sufficient context or that you provided all the context it needs, and you see the first responses or the first operations of your agent, you will see, I forgot to mention that. And then finally, instructions. Well, this is the standard operating procedure. This is the set of tasks. And here you want to break down, and this replaces sort of the workflow in many cases. You want to break down the sequence, especially if the task is complex, the sequence you want the agent to go through. If there are different branches, you want to also explain in which cases the agent should do this, in which case it should do that instead. And you're going to always have like those three components. So role, context, and instructions. And the good news and our recommendation is to use these 2 shortcuts to write your instructions. Use frameworks. Just look up online. There are tons of pre-built, battle-tested prompt structure for agents. And they are different versions, different flavors of that. And the big advantage is they've been already tested. They've already been implemented in agents. And so starting from there instead of starting from scratch is usually a good idea. And even better, use AI to at least write the first draft of your instructions and then review it. Use AI. There's a tool from Anthropic called Prompt Generator that also could allow you to do that. So I just
And
mentioned
Alex,
it.
just while you're loading that one up, we have quite a good question from Sonam on this. If the agent is following a predefined or prescribed set of steps and tools, doesn't it overlap a little bit with the AI automation definition?
Um, yes, yes. Except that you will see that so there's the or else that doesn't exist in a workflow. The or else situation, which is, well, there's a happy flow. Let's take example of the YouTube comments. It's if you want an agent to respond to YouTube comments, you have a couple of happy flows or a couple of flows where you can have it automatically respond. For instance, to say, well, if somebody says, thank you, this video was helpful, you can just thank them back for watching and wish them that they apply what they learned from the video. And probably you can turn that on autopilot. Um, but there's everything else, uh, also including the not so nice comments, where it's not so sure what to do there. And a workflow will need you to define absolutely everything and make a decision upfront, while an agent is going to be able to have this improvisation, this human in the loop, which we're going to see in a minute, that a workflow just doesn't allow. So generate prompt for an agent handling YouTube comments. Yeah, so this is a prompt generator. There, you can also use ChatGPT, Claude uh, directly to generate these prompts. Um, but basically, starting from scratch versus having AI generate this, and this one is not necessarily great. The best way you can do is find a framework that seems relatively good, extensive, comprehensive, and put it in a prompt and say, well, now here's my framework. Here's the agent I want to build. Here are some of the variables, the things that I want to include in terms of context, in terms of instructions, and please generate this prompt for me. So that's for instructions. Um, and now for tools, I think we can skip that. The tools of agents come in different nature. There's not just the integrations. Actually, we need to update that. There are platforms that actually build more than simple capabilities like updating my CRM records or sending an email, as they figured out that these actions are in high demand from the market. For example, being able to DM people on LinkedIn or to watch a whole conversation. These are things that require more than just one API call and require a bit more configuration. And so the capabilities of agents are growing as tools like NA10, Relevance, and so on are building those tools and making them available for these agents. All right. So how do you build an agent if you are just getting started? And how do you avoid, please don't build the Christmas tree or the Star Wars spaceship with 65 nodes, 100 tools, and call it Jarvis, and that manages my business. Please don't do that. I would say for a lot of cases, and if you want things that run in the background, this is potentially a good framework to explore. What it achieves is a narrow set of action for our agents. So you have one agent with a single goal, single and narrow goal, as narrow as possible, that should manage a single business object and should report in a single channel. I guess there's maybe one term here that I need to explain. What is an object? Well, objects are sort of like software abstractions in programming that we use to represent things. And depending on the tools you're going to use, depending on what your job is, you're going to work with different objects. So if you work in finance, in accounting, you're going to deal with invoices, objects, or bookings, or payments. If you work in sales, maybe it's going to be quotes, deals, contacts, companies. The idea here is that you want agents, and very often when you have a process to automate or to manage, it's going to revolve around a single object. And so the idea here is that you build an agent only to manage the workload on that object. For example, YouTube comments. A single object is people commenting on videos, just respond to comments. Don't do my YouTube strategy at the same time and just respond to comments. And let's try to bring that agentic capability just for that. Another potential use case is responding to emails. We have some examples implemented. Like I do write most of my emails with an agent, and at least it helps me draft them. Or similarly, like customer support tickets. The last piece is you cannot let these things running in the wild and just assume, like you cannot build a YouTube comment agent, give it a set of instructions, 3 examples, and then set it and forget it and just hope that it's not going to blow up, that you're going to have comments you wouldn't have written yourself. And so for this, you also need that level of security, which is one channel where that agent reports back with a human in the loop. And basically you have 2 cases. You're going to have the happy flow where the agent is going to report back what it did. I responded to that YouTube comment and this is what I wrote. And this was in the cases where most likely no problem. And then you have all the edge cases where it's going to say, well, here's a comment, here's what I would answer, and I'm just waiting for your instructions to publish the comment, or let me know your edits before we publish the comment. Why do AI agents need human in the loop? I'll just touch upon that quickly, because without human in the loop, invariably, it is very hard to predict all the cases, and it's very hard to anticipate everything. You're not going to spend a weeks configuring your agents so that it can tackle everything. And you will not manage to get to 100% anyways. And so without a human oversight at some point for those edge cases, quality is not going to meet the bar. Maybe in the future, we will get there. If we get better at configuring this, we will gradually reduce the share of outcomes that are not satisfying. But right now, this is way below expectations if you want to set it on autopilot. And so the solution there, and that is also a way to build it, to improve it, is to put yourself in the loop. Actually, this is not fully correct because if it's already good, well, it's going to tell the human that it did it, but there's no action from your side required. But for these 2 cases, the human is here to catch the error before it's too late. Before the YouTube comment is posted, before the email is sent, before the ticket from customer support is responded to. Which interface, if we're sending back to a human, which interface should you choose? What you've seen from Jan is we can do it in N8N. I guess the general feeling is that you don't want to open your N8N agent every morning and just wait that things pop up and answer things there. We already have too many tabs and too many applications where people are bombarding us with messages. So here what you see is a benchmark of the different human in the loop interface options you have for your agents. In some cases, you're going to be able to push it directly in the SaaS application that you use. This is what some tools that have integrated AI agents directly in the software are doing. And for instance, if your customer support team runs on Intercom launch Fin, that's an AI agent that lives in Intercom and that's going to assist you already where you answer queries. This is the happy flow. If you haven't tried Notion AI yet, highly recommend. This is an agent that is able to help you write, summarize, do research inside Notion. Now, the 3 options you see here are more options if you need to build your own interface. And there, you have different options. You have email, you have chat, you have team chat. Our preference so far in a B2B setting usually goes with team chat because team chat is collaborative, because you can create a single channel for every agent. And to the extent that you don't get too much volume, because it can be become a little bit messy in the threads, there's actually a good way to keep track of what the agent is doing, and you can give those instructions back and forth with the agent without leaving Slack or Teams. One last that I did not mention, but that is also an option when the process becomes a bit too complicated is having the interface inside a custom interface that you built in Airtable, in Software, in Glide. These tools are great if the moment a message reporting the work of the agent is not enough and you need different actions, you need buttons, then in this case, interfaces like these are a bit better.
And I guess, Alex, an interesting one on there, what you mentioned a little bit before, it seems like the LLM providers themselves are also
Yeah,
making a play for this space to be that interface for agents. So ChatGPT also
yeah,
created their ChatGPT agents, which are still, I would say, more like single purpose
yeah.
applications. But it would be interesting to see if, like, instead of just chatting with it on Telegram or Slack, that you're actually chatting with it where you're already interacting with LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. They are coming for it because this is where, like, eventually the best interface for human in the loop is where the process lives. And so I think you could argue maybe for many companies, for teams, there's already a lot of things where we coordinate on Slack. So I really like Slack, and this way I set it up. I must say this is not always the best UI because if the volume comes, you cannot filter messages. You can easily lose track of things you have not processed yet. Um, and so maybe there's also an evolution where um, something to come. Hopefully in Slack, you'll be able to sort of generate a UI that's a bit better than a message, and it's appropriate for the interaction the agent wants you to interact with. So, YouTube comments responder. I'll give you an example. I already showed the agent, but I want to show you a little bit how it looks like there. So that's an example of this ABC setup. It's built with Lindy, and the responder is, which you see here. So it's viewing the YouTube comment. Um, if it's us doing nothing, if it needs to draft a response, it's going to get the context of the video that's being commented plus the comment. And at this stage, post the comment in this channel. So it's not sharing anything yet because it first like checking that we are going to we indeed need to
And Alex,
we
up
want to
until
publish. Yeah,
up until this point, this could be an AI automation, right? It's like
yeah,
YouTube comment, suggest a response, post it
yeah,
to Slack. That
yes.
could be an AI automation. So what turns this into an AI agent?
So then this steps is basically saying, well, the world is complicated. There are comments that we can auto reply. These are allowed, but most cases we're going to be in a case where I need a human to decide, and it will very much depend. And so we're in this agentic loop, uh, and basically there's two cases here. So it's a very simple case, but either the agent can decide, oh yes, I can auto reply. That's good. That's somebody who just say thanks for the video, and then we move down and we reply to the comment and we report back in Slack, hey, I posted the comment. This is where here it is. You can check it on the YouTube channel, or we are stuck there. And we have then a, so this is an automatic reply. But in other cases, we're going to have an agent that is, hey, I drafted the response here exactly. So
This is a
response
great
drafted.
comment.
Yeah, so we paid with Google Gemini. Okay. So we're not.
Uh,
But then here in this case, it's waiting for further instructions. And what we can do, we can tell it either to send, okay, that's good. Actually, that's good. You can go ahead. Or we can tell, well, you know what? Like, let's just tell him we paid by Google, and which is not true. But like, we can adjust the message. we can before sending it. And so because it depends, workflow completely breaks there. Or if you had to build it with a workflow, you will need a lot more engineering than actually what we have here. This is much simpler. You give the agent the tool, it can observe message and send replies, and then if there's this thing called exit condition. The exit condition there specified in the prompt is going to be whenever you have the right to publish, then let's go and finish the flow.
And what else is like, I think important to mention here is maybe even like if some of this can be done in like pure automation logic, also the fact that you can actually just describe all of this in plain language is opens this up to a lot more people, right? These
Yeah.
different logicals, like if you can if you think you're allowed to reply, then do that, yes. That it literally it's just writing those 3 lines of text rather than building out a whole complex flow.
Yeah. Your turn.
Perfect. Yeah. Let
A blog
me.
writing agent.
Exactly. So this is actually a simple agent that we built together live at a workshop we hosted with Make last night in Berlin. And it's, let's say this is one that is also very, very close to just being an AI automation, but it's something that you could build further. But again, I just want to show like something that's very single purpose. So here we have, whenever we have a new YouTube video, we want to create a Make agent that will actually turn this into a blog article that we can post on our website. And here our human in the loop interface is going to be a Google Doc. So it starts off in an automation. And this is something that also is important to mention is like while we have this distinction between automations, AI automation agents, in most cases, agents will be triggered by automations. You want to have an automation, it's the same as like a new YouTube comment comes in, that part is an automation, go and trigger this agent. In our case, we have a new YouTube video. And so this was actually that Nano Banana video here. We're then using Gemini API. I don't know how many people know this, but you can actually use Gemini to transcribe YouTube videos. So all you need to do is give it the link of the YouTube video and then a prompt, whether you want it to summarize, analyze. But in this case, I want to provide a word for word transcript of this video. And here we get the whole YouTube transcript of our Nano Banana video. And then I just give this off to our YouTube blog agent. And in Make Agent, what's quite cool is we can see the different execution steps. So maybe it's not as visually pleasing as in N8N where we see all the different tool calls happening, but we can also like debug this. So we see the different execution steps that it takes. And in the end, what it does, it would just be the similar as like if you're giving this to a copywriter at your company saying, hey, we have this new YouTube video. Can you go and create an article? This agent works for about a minute and a half, and then says, yep, I've done. And here's a link. Right now, this is set up in Markdown that we could use it in other tools. But in this case, I'm just going to copy this link over in a new tab and says, yeah, my blog article is ready to be reviewed. And here we have then a perfectly formatted blog article, even with like a placeholder where we're going to embed this. And all of this is really crafted in terms of the style and tone of voice that we want. And what we've also instructed it to do, because a lot of blog articles, they obviously need visuals. So anything inside these square brackets is going to be visual recommendations of what image should go here. So in this case, in use case number 2, personal branding, examples of the same person in different professional environments should be a good image that goes with it. But yeah, just very, very good level of actual copywriting here in terms of how this is built in Make. And this is actually one of the tutorials that we're going to be sharing at the end. So in Make, it's a little bit different. Rather than creating your AI agent inside the scenario like we do in N8N, we have a separate AI agents section. And here, some of these components should start looking a little bit familiar to you. So first of all, we have the system prompt. This is where we give our very detailed instructions about how an agent can take a YouTube transcript and turn it into a well-structured blog article. We then have provided like a reference, a style guide in terms of the way that we like to talk. And finally, it has a tool here, which will allow it to submit that blog article to the Google Doc. So we see in our automation, all we're doing, oops, sorry, it's the wrong automation now that I've opened up. This is actually that tool. But in this automation, we don't have any Google Docs steps appearing here. That's because that all happens within this agent. So another example of a very single purpose agent, and we wanted to show you a little bit of how the AI agents look like inside make.com.
Very cool.
Perfect.
All right, back to me. Now let's get to the hot topic, which been half of the questions in the chat are half of the topics. Which platform is the best? Which platform should I choose to build agents? Um, which I already teased before. Um, our answer is it really depends, and it depends not so much on the platform itself, but it's going to depend on you. Um, I don't believe there's a best platform. It really depends on the profile of the builder. Um, and the trade-offs are going to be primarily on your skill level. Any of these solutions that you see here, Lindy, Zapier, Relevance, Make, and A10, will allow you to build AI agents. And in most cases, I read in the comments that yeah, there's some stuff I can do in N8N that I can't do in the other tools. Sure, I'm not sure most people need them. There are platforms where it's more difficult to set up rack systems. I've still yet to find a setup where I need a rack system. So it really depends on your skill level. And you can assume, so that's why it's not a market study or a detailed benchmark. It's more a feeling, and it's directionally true, I believe. You have a trade-off between how easy it is to build on a platform uh, and the level of control you're willing to trade for convenience. And usually, if you get into convenience, it will also convenience as a price. If it's much easier to build, you will tend to have a premium for that. And then on the other hand, the thing nobody's talking about with an A10, this is not really easy to build. Make neither. There's a lot of things to configure in these tools, and so I see a lot of people advocating for an A10. And in particular, the people from the N8N community are people who already know how to master the tool. And so from their perspective, there is no better tool on the market. But from a perspective of a beginner who has not necessarily the time to spend the next 3 months learning the platform, doesn't know yet what to build, I'm not sure this is always the best tool, at least to start in. And you have alternatives that it's really a spectrum and also personal preference eventually. And you will be able to build in any of these tools agents that are quite powerful and display very similar capabilities. So that's one thing. It's not them, it's you. And if it's still about them, there is one thing that we've noticed, but also not many people are talking about. It also depends on specific tool capabilities. Sometimes a single tool can justify going for one platform. And so I want to show you two examples. I'm going to, like Lindy, for instance, I absolutely love Lindy because it's easy, has a computer use tool, which is absolutely insane, which you can't find in the other platforms. And you won't build that in N8N or Make, or it is a very hard piece of technology to build. So maybe these platforms are going to bring that in the future, but for now, advantage to Lindy if you're trying to do things that don't require an API. Their meeting recorder is the reason why we switched to Lindy, and we tested it in the beginning. We were like, that's unbelievable that an automation platform, an agentic platform, has a meeting recorder this good. If you're trying to do things on LinkedIn, Relevance has very interesting LinkedIn actions. And so it's about you. Here in this case, the capability is about what you want to build. Instead of going for Make or N8N or Zapier because you heard it's the best platform, just look at the tools. And sometimes it's almost products that are being shipped by those companies. And this is not even a shortcut here. This becomes really a must-have.
I think an extra part to add on this, Alex, in general, if you
Yeah.
go back to with like Lindy and relevance, These
Yeah.
are two tools that are only focused on building AI agents. So what
Yeah.
they've done is, if, for instance, if you want to do web scraping, if you want your agent to visit a website, or in relevance, as we said, if you wanted to interact with LinkedIn, Relevance and Lindy, they're building all of this inside their platform, whereas Zapier, Make, and 8N, they come from integration platforms. So naturally, whenever you're using Zapier, Make, or N8N, what you'll need is to have different APIs and different services. So can you use N8N, Make, or Zapier to scrape websites? Absolutely. But you'll need to also be buying another third-party tool on top of it, like Appify or Firecrawl. And so the Make and Zapier and NAN, they're really about connecting different tools. And then Lindy and Relevance, the new AI agent builders, are really building in this functionality within it. Having said that, also don't make your decision only on AI agents, because especially if you're getting new to this whole thing, you will also want to be building automations, right? And so think about, okay, what are the core automations I need to run? I would never use Lindy or Relevance to, as I showed at the start, save when someone submits a form, save that information to HubSpot.
Yeah.
That should be in the hands of Zapier, Make, and N8N. And if you only want one platform, then maybe you prefer having a platform that does both automations and AI agents. We're very lucky here at 9X that we get to use all of them.
Uh, and there was some question on the comparison. Zapier has more capabilities than Lindy. I think Zapier has more integrations than Lindy, being one of the first. Now, when it comes to tools, Lindy has very interesting tools that you won't find anywhere else. Uh, what I hear is that N8N is hard to scale. No, on the contrary, N8N is great to scale, and a lot of people we've been seeing, following from the automation industry, people are day in and out in automation platform, um, love N8N because for scale it's amazing. The question is, do you build on automation platforms 10 hours a day? Because if that's not you, you probably should ask yourself how much time you want to spend building AI agents. And that is the cost we're not talking about. So yes, if you are brutally skilled and you know exactly what you're doing and you're seasoned and you build automations all day long, um, there's many people that are saying this is the best platform right now. The question is, what are you? Yeah, and we're in the session AI agents for beginners, and what we're trying to avoid is to manage expectations because building agents is not that simple. And I think there's room for every single of these tools to grow a large consumer base because they are really different in their approaches. Um, all right, a bit of computer use just to show you what I mean with tools that are amazing, and you're not going to build anywhere else. So where is it? Here. Ah, yeah, sorry, it was here. So computer use right here. All right, I lost my text. Doesn't matter. All right, so this tool right here. Start computer agent step, and the agent step has use the computer, yeah, and then I can talk to it. All right, so what does it do? This, dear friends, is browser automation. So it's an agent that's going to open a web browser and try to perform the instructions like a human would do. So when I ran it before, it worked. So I'm fairly confident it's going to perform there. And I asked it to look up for the next event on our Lu.ma for the Lu.ma for Builders Club. So the event we do here in Berlin. And you can see the agent in action. And there are tons of use cases. There are tons of processes today that rely on people clicking, logging in interfaces, clicking in different menus in order to access the information you need because there is no API. And that is one example of tool which you can integrate to an agent, which you can put inside a Lindy. So there you go. It's found it. This is not something you want to build ever. I don't know where I would start here. Yeah. And that's a great example inside Lindy. That's one of their, like, nobody talks enough about this feature. Uh, yeah, just amazing. There you go. It's founded, and then it's going to return the information. So one example of tool that comes out of the box and that no other platform for now has released. And on top of that, the tool is really, really good and reliable. So
Yeah, and on top of just
you,
browsing, it's really creating its own virtual machine. So it's even able to save files and things like that. So it definitely opens up a lot of potential use cases. All right, last but hopefully not least, demo. And that is, as Alex showed there already, looking up an event of our upcoming Builders Club event. So this is an interview prep agent that we use at 9X that we've set up in Relevance AI. I think I just want to move the Zoom controls out the way. Um, and let me first of all show you. Oops, that's the wrong Lu.ma event, or have we got it down here? Perfect. So this is our upcoming, our next Builders Club. So Builders Club is an in-person event that we run here in collaboration with NavU locally in Berlin. And typically, mine and Alex's co-founder, Pierre-Yves, would be interviewing different guests, a lot of them that we haven't met before. And there's a lot of preparation that needs to be involved before we go into a 60-minute interview. And so what we've built here in Relevance AI is our Investigate Builders Club speaker agent. And I can just give my agent a task. And you can see on the right-hand side here that this agent is equipped with a certain number of tools. And if we look in the build section, we can see it's got a very long list of instructions in terms of how it should behave. So let me go back into the run mode. And all I need to do is locate our next speaker here, Fulvio from Hey Jobs. And I'm just going to dump into our Investigate Builders Club speaker, Fulvio's LinkedIn URL. And that is all I need to give to this agent. And our agent is going to kick off. In this case, so it was in the queue for a little while. The agent here is working. And I'll just see for those first little few actions to come up. This typically runs again for probably about like 2 or 3 minutes. So what I might actually do is I'll jump ahead while this one's working to one that I ran earlier. We can see here now it's decided, first of all, what it needs to do is think. That's always good. I think that's probably already doing more than what most people do when they're given a task. But let's have a look at what this agent did. So it performed 6 steps in the background. It thought a little bit, went and used the tool extract LinkedIn profile. It decided it needed to use that again. Then it researched the person's online content, extracted the content from a website, used its think tool, and it can. That's the thing where this is different to an automation. It can use a tool more than once. And so if it basically, first of all, maybe didn't find enough information on online content, it could try and search again using a different search parameter. But what it basically gives us and spits out is, first of all, some a suggestion of event details, speaker profile, but then more importantly, which saves a lot of time of Pierre when he's doing these live events, is suggested interview questions. And you can see here just into how much detail this has gone. So the first question to Fulvio would be, you've had quite a journey from political science to becoming a technical product leader. Can you share what initially drew you to tech web back in 2007? Here's another one. You've worked in some impressive company. What's been the most surprising evolution you've witnessed in how businesses approach technology and automation over these 15 years? Even all the way down, I think there's another great question here. You've navigated multiple tech disruptions successfully. What's your advice for our community on staying ahead in the AI curve? It realizes that Fulvio also had some time in the blockchain. So you worked with smart contracts at Dion Digital. Do you see any convergence between blockchain and AI technologies in the future? Now, does Piv just let this agent run and then goes and interviews Fulvio? Of course, absolutely not. But this is really about saving a bunch of time. And typically what we'd find from these questions is there's probably 3 or 4 gold nuggets that we would not have even thought of or found if we were doing this research ourselves, because we simply just don't have the time. And what's been quite interesting, Alex, you can attest to this as well, is sometimes people will be asking some of these questions live and the people will be like, how the hell did you even find out about this? And that's purely because of setting up a research agent like this. And as we mentioned, this is really relying heavily on Relevance's integrated LinkedIn actions.
amazing. I think you have the last slide. It's all for you.
Yes. So then this was obviously a session of AI agents for beginners. So we've given you hopefully a bit of the foundation, shared a whole bunch of tools, covered the core components of AI agents. So now, really, what we would always recommend is it's time for you to get your hands dirty and play around with some of these tools. So if you want to scan any of these QR codes, we've got three different tutorials, two of them on our website, one of them from a Notion page that we did for a live session yesterday with Meg, where you can follow like a step-by-step guide to maybe build your first AI agent. So we have a simple one in Lindy for automating company research, where you can just put in a company domain and it's going to give you your agent's going to go off and research that company. So this is perfect maybe if you're working in sales or running your own business. We have that YouTube to blog AI agent that I showed before, and then a twist on that interview preparation agent that I just showed for our Builders Club. We probably know that not every single person here is maybe hosting live events and interviewing guests, but what a lot of interviews that do happen is job interviews. So we have a very similar agent set up in Relevance that if you are interviewing people that are applying to work at your company, obviously you'll end up getting more candidates. Then you'll be interviewing several candidates, which can take a lot of time. So this AI agent is also going to basically take the CV of the person, their LinkedIn profile, as well as the job description, and come up with suggested interview questions that you could ask in the interview. So feel free to scan any of these QR codes. And we're also going to, in the email that we send tomorrow, where you'll have the recording, you also have all the links to these three tutorials that you can try out for yourself.
I saw a lot of thumbs up in the chat at the end. So I guess the session was good. Yeah, you liked it? Super cool. Wow, that's too much.
Awesome.
That's too much now. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. The most important thing is, yeah, just get started. Don't worry too much about the platform. Just get started and for something that's really valuable. Like maybe it's one unsolicited piece of advice to end the session. It's better if it's useful. I see a lot of people trying to build agents just for the sake of building agents. I think it's good if you want to get an understanding of what is possible, but nothing beats building a first agent that could actually help you do something. Maybe
Absolutely.
to process your emails. Yeah, we have a couple of tutorials on the website. We have these ones you can check. Just to give you some ideas, it's day and night if you build something that eventually is going to save you some time, because that's what we're here for. All right,
Perfect.
mic drop.
All right. Have a great
See you next
evening,
week.
everyone.
Yeah, bye
See
bye.
ya.